Remember that based guy from the video we did on Sunday?
And said, Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? The oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay. Are you like, Chase, how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually, what the f*** do you mean?
Because if I had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man.
That's not gay.
That's
And
gay.
I don't even catch you at the f***, actually.
I'm
Well, he's back on the same podcast. I don't know why they keep bringing him back, but he's back to once again drive feminists crazy by saying highly normal things. What's up, guys? Vince Dow here. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are new. So most of you have seen that first clip of the guy Chase on the Whatever Dating podcast. If not, you can go watch my video on it. But it turns out that's not the only time he's been on this podcast, and there's a second clip of him circulating where women go absolutely nuts at him saying that he wants a wife who is a decent person and not a harlot. Check it out.
If I find a girl that I want to make my wife, and I find her super attractive.
Your wife. Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I would do. I would make her my wife. I would ask her to marry me and then make her my wife. You say you are a feminist. You're 100% a feminist.
That is feminist.
You look. You heard me say that.
Oh,
You
I
heard.
make her my wife. Like.
Yeah, because that's what I would do.
Matter. It's like I'm an equal human, the woman. It's
You-
not about
you
you
say
wanting
that-
to make her your wife.
Obviously, she would want to be
She
my
has
wife.
her own life. She wants to be your wife too.
Yeah, of course, but she's
She
not
wants
going
to go to the club. She wants to do her makeup.
No, she's not going to want to go to clubs.
Pictures.
She's not
Yeah,
going to want to
she
go to
does.
clubs. No,
She does.
because here's the thing: that's a non-negotiable for me in marriage.
Okay, well
if
then,
if I
good
find a
luck.
woman, if there's plenty of women out
Good
there that
luck.
don't want to go to clubs all the time.
Okay, well.
There's plenty of women out there that
Have
don't want to
fun
go to
with that,
clubs
girl.
in tiny little dresses and get hit on by guys all the time.
Wow, you as a married woman shouldn't be hitting up random nightclubs. Radical, insane take, right? Straight out of The Handmaid's Tale. We are up against this idea that marriage basically has no meaning or purpose. It's not a holy covenant. The purpose of it isn't to mark a new life and raise a family. It's basically just this subjective point when two romantic lovers decide to cohabitate with each other. Again, if that's the case, if there is no inherent sacrifice or duty to marriage, then what's the point of it? There is none. And yet, I virtually guarantee you that a woman like that still wants to be married eventually just so that she can get the pretty ring and the cute ceremony and the status and the memories. It's just that she doesn't want to fulfill any of the actual duties it takes to be a wife. And you see this a lot with feminist women. It's not that they want to abolish all gender roles completely. It's more so that they want men to do manly duties without females having to do feminine duties, right? So she wants a man to buy her a ring, finance a wedding, be a man, do all of this stuff, all the stuff that takes money and work and commitment, but she doesn't want to pay that back with all of the sacrifices and duties of being a wife. She wants to be able to be unfaithful and continue to live like a TikTok influencer and all this. Feminists would let the men sacrifice themselves on the Titanic, but they think a man asking her to be the mother of his children is oppressive. We see this type of behavior from feminists all the time.
Would you describe yourself as a feminist?
Yes.
Do you believe in gender equality?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how do you reconcile believing in gender equality, but also holding men to their traditional gender roles of paying for the first date?
Well, I'm just saying that's my personal view. A woman can, being a feminist is just doing whatever you want to do and not being bashed by society for that. And obviously, standing up for women's rights and stuff like that. But I don't know, I just feel like this question's really dense.
My question is, if you believe in gender equality, don't you think you ought to split the bill on the first date?
No, because my main concern with gender equality is through, yes, in society, fixing that, and through, the system. But, yeah, I don't, oh my God.
The thing is that there is a duty and sacrifice to marriage, objectively speaking. Now, there's a lot of benefits and happiness that come with it, but there are duties. For one, and this is such a basic thing, a wife shouldn't be unfaithful to her husband. And not just in the sense of cheating. Like you can say, oh, I go to the club, but I don't but you go to the club and you intentionally seek out attention from guys, and it's still unfaithful. But I think it goes further than that. And call me old school or whatever, but I want my future wife to be a stay-at-home mom, raise our kids, care for the home, maybe homestead a bit. But that's the life I want. The reason I want that, besides the fact that it's better for a family, is that I think a husband and wife should complement each other. It's not just this idea of total equality where you're equal providers and there's no distinct roles or differences. No, again, call me old-fashioned, but I think that there are distinct and separate duties of husband and wife. I believe that because I believe that men and women are fundamentally different from each other, not just in physical ways, but in ways that are emotional, psychological, spiritual, etc. And that's why I see it as my masculine duty to provide, her feminine duty to nurture. Again, old school or whatever, but that's how I am. Now, when I say that, people always ask me, what are you going to do if your wife wants to work a career? Well, first of all, let's be clear. I don't plan on marrying a girl like that. But secondly, I would say to her that it doesn't matter and she's being selfish because she will have duties as a wife, mother, and homemaker that she's obligated by our marriage to fulfill. And that's not exclusive to her. I have duties too. Do you think I will want to wake up every day and go work to provide for the family? You don't think there's other things I'd rather do than working all the time? But I do what I do because it's my duty to provide for her and the family. Because life isn't all about what we want, right? We have duties and sacrifices that we simply have to make. And most modern women wouldn't object to me saying, I need to provide, I need to be a man, but they object to the idea that there is anything they have to do in return in order to help build a functioning marriage. And that really sucks for a lot of young men that a lot of young women are like this. Because look, I'm fortunate to be VinceDao. Okay, let's be honest. People are always like, well, what if your wife isn't like that or whatever, blah, blah. Okay, listen, I don't even say this in an arrogant way. Let me be clear, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but let's accurately assess the truth. I'm VinceDao, okay? And in a few years, that name is going to mean much more than it does right now. So if I can't meet someone in my personal life, trust me, there are plenty of women in the conservative circle that would happily be a stay-at-home wife, okay? Like, just saying. It's true, okay? Look, it's just true. Now, a lot of young men out there, and this is what sucks, don't have easy access to good feminine women. And they do exist, but they're hard to find and they're competitive to get. And so it's a struggle. I understand why a lot of guys are disaffected with it, but I know this video has ended on a huge tangent, but point being, there is an inherent duty and purpose and hierarchy to marriage. And whether you like that or not, and whether or not you have the 100% stay-at-home traditional wife lifestyle that I want, you know, I'm not attacking people who don't do that, especially because they can't afford it. I understand it's a lifestyle that's dying in American society, but regardless of the situation you're in, I still think that husbands and wives have a natural duty to each other, and I don't know, being faithful, not going out to clubs seems like a pretty basic start, but okay, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's video. Shout out to Based Man Chase for bringing in more W's as usual, and until next time, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Alpha moves only. God bless and peace.